Hello, everyone. I want to thank Alan Shaw for his brilliant leadership as board chair. Our collaboration has meant the world to me and to Out and Equal. And thank you, each of you, who are tuning in from around the world. And while we may not be together, this community is and always will be a force. The best part about this community is the people, and each of us has a place. Queer advocates and straight allies, seasoned professionals and emerging talent, trans leaders, disabled leaders, leaders of all different racial and ethnic backgrounds, leaders from around the world, all united by the richness of the opportunity we have in front of us, because we know diversity is our richest resource and innovation its top yield. But right now, there are extremists twisting this fundamental truth, this economic catalyst. They've made DEI the new boogeyman, as if recognizing diversity, fostering inclusion, and investing in equity were dangerous. The backlash against DEI has had its ripple effects. Many companies, maybe even your company, are fearing public pushback or legal action. Some have stepped away from their DEI commitments. Mentions of DEI are down on quarterly earnings calls. So are job postings with DEI in the title. So I'm not surprised that some people might be wondering if DEI is doomed. Friends, that's what the few noisy extremists want us to think. But let me be clear, this work is not doomed. These are pillars of business around the world because they simply make good business sense. I've sat in a lot of boardrooms and on a lot of Zoom calls with business leaders in every sector and around the world. When I read all these sensationalized headlines about DEI in the workplace, they just don't track. So today, I want to tell you what I am not seeing. I'm not seeing a shift in fundamental values. I'm not seeing leaders abandon their commitment to building cultures of belonging. I'm not seeing companies deny that diversity and inclusion are imperative to their talent strategy. I'm not seeing any companies roll back decades of inclusion policies. In fact, I'm not aware of a single company that has undone their anti-discrimination policies or removed protections for sexual orientation and gender identity. So let's not take the bait on these caricatures of DEI. For 30 years, the Fortune 500 and countless others have invested in DEI because the returns on investment are so high. The vast majority of corporate leaders remain committed to the heart of this work, and so do you. Because inclusion and belonging are the keys to our success. I'm talking about unleashing our ability to compete and innovate. I'm talking about unlocking the LGBTQ+ community's $1.4 trillion in spending power. I'm talking about leveling up workforce readiness. Because by 2030, 1 in 3 workers will be Gen Zers, and they're more racially diverse and more likely to identify as queer than any other generation. So, the message from these extremists isn't just anti-DEI. Let's call it what it is. It's anti-business, it's anti-common sense, and it's antiquated. And the businesses that follow their backwards, wayward advice are going to be hurting. We may not see it in the next 24-hour news cycle or the next quarterly earnings statement, but we will see, as we have time and time again, that workplaces that leave inclusion and belonging behind are leaving money on the table and talent on the bench. Still, I admit, watching all this unfold takes a toll. The backlash and some of the rhetoric have been ugly. Extremists have blamed DEI for everything. Leaders like Kamala Harris have been derided as DEI hires. Does it make you frustrated and even angry? It makes me angry. And it's not just DEI they are attacking. Let's be real. This is all part of a broader movement to roll back our basic rights and deny our basic humanity. This year alone, 530 pieces of anti-LGBTQ+ legislation have been introduced. Dozens have been passed into law, and that has a direct impact on our workplaces. The numbers prove it. At Out and Equal, we found that nearly 4 out of 5 people would hesitate to relocate to another state for work because of anti-LGBTQ laws. Let's be clear. In the United States of America and across the globe, no one should have to miss out on opportunity out of fear for their safety and their freedom. In the moment we're in, I think it's pretty clear that we need a healthy dose of recentering and resilience. At Out and Equal, we see our partners put that resilience into practice every day by showing up, having tough conversations, and calling people in with urgency and compassion. That's incredible, important work, and I'm so grateful to all of you who keep pushing for progress even when it's hard. But resilience is only part of the equation. To find our way forward, we need something more than that. We need a spark of creativity, a spark of imagination. We saw a glimmer of that this summer when the Democratic Party dared to imagine that this election could look radically different than the one we expected. That is not a partisan memory or message. It's a reminder that no one and no organization should sell themselves short when the moment demands bold action. And lucky for us, our movement knows how to go bold and dream big. It is our community's greatest superpower. For generations, queer people have been dreaming a new world into existence, one where we can be who we are and love who we love. I think about queer trailblazers like Lynn Conway, who passed away earlier this year. In the 1960s, she lost her job at IBM because she came out as trans. But she persisted and forged a decades-long career in tech. She dared to picture the world where she could belong. And together with other LGBTQ pioneers, she helped bring us a huge step closer to that reality. Thanks to Lynn's work and the work of so many others, today, 9 out of 10 Fortune 500 companies have policies in place prohibiting anti-LGBTQ discrimination. Remember that when you read those sensationalized headlines about DEI in the workplace. We need that spark of imagination to ignite real change, change that inspires us to burn bright without burning out. And here's the thing, every single one of us has that spark. And right now, I invite you to pay attention to what it feels like, that fire in your belly, that burning desire for change, that warm glow when you picture what the future could look like, that electricity you feel when you are truly seen. Whatever you're feeling, for better or worse, or both, let that fuel your fire. If you or your loved ones have been the targets of anti-LGBTQ legislation, let heartbreak fuel your fire. So many of us are hurting right now, and yet so many of you are transforming that hurt into powerful change. Pain can be a bridge to joy, so use it. If you're new to our movement, let ambition fuel your fire. There is a new generation of LGBTQ talent that is taking the workplace by storm. To the queer folks new to the workforce, we need you. And to all the employers, you need them. If you are an ally, let empathy fuel your fire. If there was ever a moment to double down on your allyship, this is it. But never forget, allyship requires action. If you work for a company that stepped away from DEI this year, let frustration, persistence, and creativity fuel your fire. I know many of you are on the front lines working to protect DEI at your own organizations. This is vital work, even if not everyone recognizes it right away. So let me say right now, we see you and we support you. You are not alone. And we know too that progress doesn't happen overnight. We believe that the ones who stay the course, who understand that building businesses of belonging is a long game, far longer than any news cycle, will reap the biggest rewards. And for our part at Out and Equal, we're here to partner with you wherever you are on your journey. No matter yesterday's stumbles, we'll honor today's successes. When you are with us, you are family. Because we believe that belonging extends to everyone, including the companies that have made headlines. To all those colleagues from the very companies that were called out, thank you for all you continue to do to fight for the LGBTQ+ community, even when it's really hard, especially when it's really hard. And let me say, I fully expect that we will be celebrating you in the years to come. If you work for a company that doubled down on its commitment to DEI this year, let pride fuel your fire. Earlier this year, I visited the headquarters of a major international company. While I was waiting in the lobby, something caught my eye. It was a note from the CEO reaffirming the company's support for affirmative action in response to the Supreme Court ruling. And let me be clear, this wasn't tucked away. It was sitting right out there at the registration desk for everyone to see. At first, I was surprised to see a CEO make such a bold public statement. But as I thought about it more, I was inspired. The CEO wanted to go on record as being on the right side of history. That kind of leadership is out there, and it is worth celebrating. But also remember, pride requires, as my good friend Dr. Reza Rahman at MIT loves to say, relentless dissatisfaction with the status quo. If you're doing good, push yourself to do better. And to you, let hope fuel your fire. With everything that's going on right now in this country and around the world, I know it can be hard to stay hopeful, but we are not a community of doubters and naysayers. We are survivors and we are warriors. Most important, we are fired up. Hope is just a recognition of how powerful we can be when we come together. It's a feeling in our guts and our hearts. It's a connection that will sustain generations of queer people and allies who come after us. Young people who need us to show them what it looks like to fight for our rights and win. Because we have done it and we can do it again. We will do it again. A world where everyone feels like they belong is worth fighting for. And it's our commitment, our ambition, our imagination, and yes, maybe, if we dare, radical optimism that will make that world a reality. I'll leave you with these words from Andrea Gibson, the Poet Laureate of Colorado and proud queer luminary, who centers me every day. They write, "The light at the end of the tunnel is the fire of your faith, so never put it out." I have faith that together we will illuminate the way forward, because together we burn brighter and together we are unstoppable. Thank you.